What you doing?
Cleaning. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to do a little more summer cleanup, fall, possibly planting, getting the garden ready for our fall garden again, like part 3. So the tomatoes, I've told y'all before I was just going to leave them and let them keep growing. But even though they're still producing, they're honestly not tasting as good as they were. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull out everything. I'll go ahead and pick whatever's good today and then pull the plants out and go ahead and start working on green beans, peas, something like that. The only thing I'm not gonna pull out are these tomatillos because they are doing fantastic. And I don't know if it's just the difference between tomatoes and tomatillos, or what I also think is because they are right under the shade of this big apple tree. So in the afternoon when it gets brutal hot here and it's just beating on the tomatoes, these are shaded and they're doing really great. So I'm gonna leave them in, let them keep growing. They're a purple tomatillo from Baker Creek, I'm pretty sure. See if I can find one on here that's ripe. Here comes Audrey. Say hi. Hi.
Hi. She's gonna help me out here in the garden today. We're doing all our work in the heat. That's because we decided to take one last day before school starts and go to the zoo and have a little fun this morning. So that means we're working in the heat in the afternoon. So here, it's one of those purple tomatillos and they're doing wonderful. You can see the plant, I don't know. It's way taller than I am. Got this side cleaned out. We picked a bunch of tomatoes off. Some are still green. That's okay. We'll just either let them ripen or fry green tomatoes, whatever, that'll work. This had our Cherokee purples, and I've got most of those out. Had a slight change of plans though. I was gonna pull everything, but these are hiding right here in the shade. And I'm gonna leave them because they still look okay. They're still producing. And I think with that tree shading them in the afternoon, they're keeping them from getting as fried as the other plants. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave these 4 Cherokee purple plants and see how they do. So other than the tomatillos we already talked about, I'm just gonna leave these 4 Cherokee purples. Everything else is coming out. And I'm probably alone in the gardening world. And don't hate me for it, but I actually, even though I enjoy growing and having our own food and produce and everything, I actually feel really satisfied once I've got a cleaned out area. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the clean space, pulling out whatever's dead so we can start something new. But there's something about it that makes me kind of happy. And then down here, I showed you guys before that I planted a bunch of green beans. But I also told you guys that they were old seeds, so I planted several hoping that they would come up. And as you can see, we have nothing. I don't even find the seeds anymore. I'll be replanting some green beans. We have new seeds. I was just trying to use up some of the old ones and hope that they grew, but they didn't, but that's okay. So when we get all this cleaned out, then I will start planting some green beans and maybe peas. It's still really hot, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna put those in just yet. Got Audrey hauling it all off to the chickens. So as usual, nothing goes to waste. So she's taking these piles of everything we're cutting down back to the compost, I would say, but the chickens will eat it all up before it has time to compost. But even if you don't have chickens, then you can always compost it and add to your, never mind. Y'all, check this guy out. It's one of the things I'm always talking about being outside and seeing things you haven't ever seen. I have never seen a spider that's that bright green before. Isn't it cool? I think he'd probably prefer I just leave him alone, but I wanted to see it. It's kind of neat. I'll just pull in the last couple of plants off. We got all this space cleaned up. Tomatoes are all gone, except those 4 Cherokee Purple right down there by Audrey. A basket full of tomatoes. It's gonna be the last tomato harvest this year. Plenty that are ready, plenty that will ripen in the house in just a couple days. And a bunch of these cute little bitty green things. So I know probably all of you have done sliced fried green tomatoes, but all these little bitty guys, just dip them in a batter and do the same thing. Back here behind the barn, where we just dumped all of the tomato stuff that we pulled out. And check out those chickens. They're loving it. They're gonna turn it into great compost for the garden. And they're happy. Plus, kind of gets our feed costs down this time of year because we give them plenty of food to eat. I guess I lied. I said that was our last tomato harvest, but it's not, because I forgot about the 4 plants I told you I was keeping. So not quite the last tomato harvest, so that's good. Hopefully. I think that this will work being in the shade here. Anybody else ever get tomato hand? Is that not gross? All right, we went in, had a little dinner break, and now we're back out here to finish up. But I keep forgetting about another tomato trellis that I have that's actually growing really well. So it gets to stay right over here. I actually call that my Jess trellis because I got those tomatoes from Jessica at Roots and Refuge. So they're still doing really good. They were actually really slow to start. They're the ones I thought in the spring when we got so much rain were gonna die because they just were not growing and looked terrible. But now, they're actually the last of our tomatoes that still look really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave these growing for now. This area over here with all those cattle panels that we cleaned up earlier is where we're gonna go ahead and plant. And we're gonna go ahead and put up plant some green beans. I think we have 3 different varieties we're gonna try. We're gonna go ahead and plant sugar snap peas and try some cucumbers. They're only 60 days to maturity on the variety we're gonna do the Armenian cucumbers, and we're gonna go ahead and try them. If nothing else, we'll have some pretty plants, and hopefully though we'll get a few cucumbers in too. So got Audrey helping again. Yay! Oh. She's gonna help me plant, and along this whole big trellis we're gonna do green beans, and we are gonna start with the Vortex pole bean. Maybe. So we don't have very many of those left, so we're just gonna start there and then work our way. Go ahead and start, Audrey. Hoping to get some beans in, get them all planted and canned for winter. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of green beans, but everybody else likes them, and we'll see. After those, we are planting some Royal Burgundy beans and then Blue Lake. Then on this smaller trellis over here, we're gonna put some sugar snap peas and some of the Armenian cucumbers. The first of our official fall crops that are going in the ground. We've got a bunch in the greenhouse that you've already seen me start, but this is the first actually going in the garden for fall, so kind of excited about that. So another advantage to all the cover crop and the organic matter that we have out here, we've talked about that many times out in this food forest. We just have the cover crop growing all the time. We put lots of organic matter, wood chips, whatever. Another advantage to that is this is the most workable dirt. This bean right here, I don't need any tools. It's so soft. It's really easy to work in. And because of all of the wood chips and all the organic matter in here, it really retains the water very well. Just tip of my finger. I mean, it is just the easiest garden to work in. All right, come on. All that's left is these cucumbers. Bye, Casey. I'm just gonna plant the cucumbers. And then we're done for today. Well, actually we're not. We need to water real quick.
So normally we talk about how we don't water in this garden at all, and that is almost always true. About the only time we water is when we first plant seeds or transplants, just to get them going. And if we don't get rain for a few days, I'll keep watering these seeds till they really get established well. But after that, honestly, all of the organic matter that we have out here keeps everything plenty wet, so there's no need for water most of the time. All right, so we're just gonna finish watering this in, and then I think we're done for today. So we officially have our first fall crops in the garden, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
We officially have our first fall crops in the garden. Why did that die?